shift and the 8 number. I don't think I've ever said that before in a tutorial. That's how basic we're getting right here. And then another option would be just the /, or I can never remember if it's a \. It's the one that shares the key with the question mark. So that's dividing something. But let's undo that. We'll just leave it as subtracting 300 for right now. And then let's also try this moon.width. Here's another property. Right now, let's go find out what our width property is this currently. So it's 175 and the height is 173. So these aren't exactly the same. Let's go ahead and make them the same though. So I'm just going to type that in. Height is 175 and here we go. Again, you got to select that keyframe that you're typing in to write the action script. And moon, this time let's make this 350. So we will basically double how wide it is. Of course, if we were to publish right now, look kind of weird. So let's go and write moon.height equals 350. So again, these will be kind of equal to each other. Another thing we could do is write, actually, let me just compress that a little bit. You go and put in here moon.scale x. Okay. And this is a little bit trickier. We're going to write 0.5, and what this will end up doing is bringing this back down to 175 because for your scale x and your scale y properties, let's go ahead and just write them both out right now. 1 is going to equal its kind of default setting, or its current size. Okay, and let's put a little note here. So I'm going to write 2 slashes and then 1 equals 100%. Okay, so 0.5 would then equal half of what that is, whereas 2 would equal double the size. So I think if I publish this out, we should get back to, well, that's interesting. Why would it not? Yeah, that's it is kind of strange. I thought actually because we were doubling it up to 350 here and then also making it go back down to half that, it would be half of this size. But I guess actually what's going on is it's kind of ignoring these 2 lines in a sense. We can comment out lines entirely by just putting 2 slashes right there. And I guess we'd be seeing the same result like these had never existed. So, hey, you learn something new every day. All right, come back down here. Let's just keep going through kind of these general properties and moon dot visible. If you guys saw me type guy right there, that's because I'm actually looking at some of the notes from the previous lesson, and in that one I was using a guy as the movie clip. So this is going to be moon.visible equals true. This other option here is going to be false. This is called a Boolean value. Okay, so it's either going to be kind of on or off, or true or false. And we obviously want this to be true because we would like to see the moon in this example, but false would of course make it invisible. There's another way of making or kind of altering the visibility of an object, and you could go and write moon.alpha, and the range here is going to be from 0 to 1, so let's say 0.5. That's going to be at about 50% or exactly 50% transparent. I'm just going to write here a range of 0 to 1. Let's publish it out again, and sure enough, that does look semi-transparent. So let's go ahead and leave that at 1 though, so it looks nice and pretty again. Okay, let's go ahead and pop this window out here so I got a little bit more space to work with, and let me also, there we go. Okay, another basic property here, moon.rotation. This is a good one for the moon. Let's set this to 50, and your range here would be, well, it could be more than 360, but then you just be kind of going back around and repeating yourself again. Like a 45-degree rotation change would be the same as a 405 degree. See, because I added 45 to that. So, But let's go see what this does. And it's maybe it's not so obvious when it's small like that, but that's definitely a little bit of a change because our big circle right here is now kind of curved off to the side. Let's go ahead and just make this 1 and 1 again. Okay, hopefully it's a little bit more clear now. Boy, that's certainly not a perfect circle, is it? Okay, and one thing I want to throw in here early on, lest I forget it entirely during this course, is that a lot of times when you're using a movie clip, it's going to be something that you're going to click on. Okay, so you can set a button mode equal to true, and then the line after that, it's got to be the line after that, right? Use hand cursor equals true. And if you do that, even if your movie clip isn't doing anything as a button, right now we don't have any button code in here, but you can see when I roll over it, okay, it gives me that hand cursor right there. And that's something that was kind of new to Actionscript 3, where in Actionscript 2, you basically had to kind of purposely disable that use hand cursor, whereas in this one, the default is that you have to put this code in here or you're just not going to see any sort of change at all. And it's amazing, even when I'm working kind of with my own Flash movies, if I forget to put in this button mode right here, like I'll confuse myself as to whether or not something is clickable. Okay, so you got to imagine that for your common user playing around with your Swift file, they're not going to easily know what is a button or is clickable or not until they just sit there and kind of randomly press things. And generally, you don't want that to be going on. You want people to have some sort of indication that an object is clickable. Okay, so I'm going to close out of that actions window for right now, and I need to do something to this Moon movie clip so that it's moving around or cycling, and that way we can play with some of the code that makes movie clips stop or pause or go to the next frame, things like that. Right now this is just a static image. Obviously we've seen it published a few times. It's not doing anything. And if I were to double click inside of here, all right, so I'm going to double click right now, you can get down to the kind of the raw artwork for it. It kind of turns this little, sort of looks like it's pixelated a little bit there when it's selected. And I've got 3 layers that are making up this this artwork right now. I don't want to animate anything that's inside of here, but I do just want to show you guys that this is an independent timeline area, and the indication that that's going on is that, well, first I had to double click inside of here to see all this artwork, and then you see over here that you've got seed 1, and then it's denoting that I'm inside of this moon symbol. So what I'm going to do is, with this movie clip selected, I'm going to convert it to a symbol. Okay, so it's going to be a symbol within a symbol then, and this one we'll call moon animated. So convert to symbol, click OK. You're not really going to see anything happen right here, but if I were to double click now, you can see that I'm inside of moon animated, and then to double click again, then I'm back where I was just a second ago inside of here. So again, jumping back up here to scene 1, double click inside of there. What I'm going to do now is manipulate the timeline that goes along with moon animated. So I'm going to come out here about 50 frames. I'm going to hit F6. And that's going to place a new keyframe on there. So if I were to change where this is at, it's going to be changed on this one keyframe, whereas if I were to kind of bump back or just take this timeline slider and move back a few frames or one frame, I'm immediately back where I began right here. Okay, so there's no motion tweening going on right now until we come anywhere between these 2 frames, and if we right click, we can go over here, and I'm going to just go ahead and use a classic motion tween because these are a little bit simpler initially, and you can see that now I've got this moon moving from one place to the next. I'm going to undo all this though. We might as well show you guys the newer ways of doing things. So instead of putting a keyframe out here now, I'm just going to right click over here, go to create motion tween, And again, without doing a keyframe, now I can just grab this symbol, okay, move it out over here. It's going to create the keyframe automatically for me, and then